Assalamu alaikum, welcome back. In this video I'll teach you how to cut and stitch this beautiful two pieces dress. So it has gown and skirt. So I cut the one with V shape at down, and I cut another one with round shape at down. So you need about 6 trousers of fabric. Let's get started. So take your fabric, you fold it in triangular form as you see me doing. Sure that it's lace. Just take it like this. Let it form the triangular shape. Just take one edge, then you fold in a triangular form as you see me doing. So I want to cut the gown first. So if you want the down of the gown to full, you want fuller side, so you put it at the edge, let the mouth meet at this side. You can see, let it meet. So if you don't want to full, you can reduce this as you see me doing. So this will reduce the down wideness of the gown. You can see, so you can see that this won't be as full as the one that I showed you before. So it's either you put it here or you reduce it. So the more you reduce it, the lesser the fullness of the gown. So after that, you measure your shoulder. Just locate where you see your shoulder measurement divided by 2. So I use 8 inches here. Just locate where you see your shoulder measurement divided by 2 plus half of an inch. So from there, you measure your armhole. I measure 1 inch down for the armhole slant. Here I measure my neck width, so I use 3.5 inches for the neck width. So, and I connected it to the shoulder slant, 1 inch shoulder slant. From that shoulder slant, you measure your armhole length. So I measure 7 inches down, then I connect. Then make your armhole shape. You can see the shoulder, this shoulder line. Then you measure the 1 inch for shoulder slant. From that shoulder slant, you measure your armhole length. Then you make your armhole shape. So this is the neck, 3.5 by 1 for the back neck measurement. So at this side, you measure your bust circumference divided by 4 plus 2 inches. You can measure 1 inch. So I use 1 inch here. So depending on what you want. So from here, you confirm your gown length measurement. So measure your gown length measurement from the shoulder. Okay, from the shoulder line, measure your gown length measurement. Chalk it. When you chalk it, you take your tape rule. Just notice chalk where the gown measurement stop. So you take your tape rule from up. You can see this edge there, here. So you take your tape rule from there, measure to where you chalk, where your gown measurement stop. Measure what you have there. That's what you are going to measure on. Right? So you take your tape rule this way. Then you measure it round. So what you have there, that's what you are going to measure around. Remember, we are going to cut the upper part off. So that means what I'm measuring hand will be what I will cut out plus my gown length measurement. So remember to add about 1.5 to 2 inches allowance to your gown length measurement, right? So you can see. So from up, if you want to make that V shape, so you can measure from that down. You can measure 2 inches from down, then you connect it as you see me doing. So I measure depending on how high you want the side to be. So you can measure 15 from down, then connect to the length of the gown you have at the folded side. So you can see the way I placed my ruler. So I will now connect it to the side, to the 15 inches that I measure at this side. So you can make it higher than that. You can measure 16, 18, 20. So depending on where you want it to stop on your body when you put it on. So you can measure from your shoulder to where you want it to stop. So that means you measure it from shoulder on the fabric to where you measure on your body. So but this I measure 16 inches from down, then I calculated it to the length of the gown at the folded part. You can see this is what I'm going to cut out, so you can see. So depending on what you want, so you can decide to cut that round shape. So this is another shape. I will just connect it. The one that I first showed you is that round shape. So you measure it from up, you measure it round. So if you want that V shape, you can see the way I just did it. So this one you can cut. This is another shape. This is another shape. So just be creative, make any shape you want, or depending on the style you want to sew. You can see. So this is the one with V shape. So you just connect it, slant your table, connect it to the side. So measure 15 inches from down, then I connect it like that. So I'm going to cut out the V shape. So if you are cutting the round shape, just follow that round shape. So if you want perfect one, take your table, you put it at the edge up, then measure it round, so you have a perfect round shape. So you cut it out, just follow what you shock. You can see. So this is the side, the waist area, the hip area. So when you get to, you can see where I chalk the side. So when you get there, just follow the shocking, you slant it. So it's either you cut around that shape. So I'm not cutting the round shape, I want to cut the V shape. So I'm cutting it from here. So if you are cutting the round shape, you follow the shocking of that round shape. So you can see the way I cut it. So you can see that V shape. You have that V shape that's down. So you can make any shape you want. Just be creative. You can see. So you are going to cut another one for the front piece. I'm going to cut just the same thing I just cut. So you take many fabric, you fold in that triangular form, then you place what you just cut on it. So if you want to put zipper, you can shift it forward like this, then measure your zipper allowance. But in this tutorial, I'm not putting any zipper. It does not have any opening at the center. So depending on the style you want to make. So I'll just make the same thing. I'll just cut out the same thing that I just cut, so just to make photocopy of what I have cut before. So just the same way, you can see. So I'll just trace it out. I'll follow what I place on the mini cloth. Remember to fold your fabric in triangular form too when you want to cut out the second piece. You can see. I'll just follow the shape of what I have before. So you can see this is how to cut flare from up down. You can see how easy and simple it is. So you can see that I'll be able to cut it half and have two pieces, one for the front and one for the back piece. So I'll shape out my neck. So depending on the neck you want, but I want one shape. So I chalk 3.5 by 5.5 inches for the front length measurement, while 3.5 by 1 inch for the back neck measurement. So you can see the front piece and the back piece. So we cut out the skirt now. So this side is number of yard. You can see that I folded material in total. This side is the breadth. You can see the folded area, number of yard. So I folded 16 inches. I measure it in two places and I folded it. So depending on the length you want, so I have 16 inches here. You can see this side is number of yard. So after that you will cut it out. Just cut what you just measure the 16 inches, then you fold it this way. You can see, fold it in a triangular form. So after folding it, you measure from down. So depending on the length you want, so you can see, for in this tutorial I use 16 inches because I want my material, my skirt to be about 45 inches. So measure the length you want, mark it from down. From up you take your tape this way, measure what you have. I have 15 inches there. Then you will chalk the 15 inches round as you see me doing. You see? So when you do this, the waist will be wider than the normal waist because we are going to put elastic. So from that up, measure to where your skirt length stop. So what you have here, if you have 60, that's what you are going to measure around. So the measurement you have there, you measure it round. So ensure your tape is at up as seen. So depending on the length of skirt you want, you can, if you want 40, just measure 40 plus 1 inches from down, then you chalk. So if you want 40 inches and what you want to measure from up is 15 inches, what you want to cut out, that will be 40 plus 1 for seam allowance plus that 15 inches. That's what you are going to fold. So you are folding 56 inches in two places. But because of the length I want, that's why I folded 16 inches into places. Hope you get. So depending on the length you want, just follow the way I have shaped this. When you want to cut when you want to cut yours, and take your measurements. So that's how to cut the skirt. And I'm going to cut the band. So measure what you have on the skirt, the measurements you have at the waist area, what you have there. So you are going to measure it too. So you can measure what the measurement you have there by 1.5 inches. So that 1.5 will be unfold. When you open, you should have 3 inches. So 1.5 will be unfold. When you have it, you have 3 inches, right? You can see. So I'm going to place it on the skirt's waist area. So just to confirm. So what I have on the skirts, and that's it. That's how to cut the skirt and the gown. So I'll cut the basic sleeve for the gown. So I'll take the sleeve. So I use 1/2 inch elastic. So I attach it to the sleeve mouth. You can see me attaching it. So then fold twice. So when you fold twice, you stitch. So you don't stitch on the elastic. So I fold, then I stitch. If you can first of all fold the down of the sleeve, then you start your elastic with safety pin. But I use this method to fix elastic to my dress. So you can use any method you like. So I measure my round sleeve measurements. So I measure 4 inches. Then you stitch the side of the sleeve. You see? From the sleeve mouth to the armhole area. So you do the same to the other sleeve too. You can see the elastic, you can see the armhole area. And this is the front and back piece. So I will join it at shoulder, right side facing the right side of front piece facing the right side of the back piece. So you join at the shoulder, then you weave. So after joining them together, then you weave. Yes. So I'll use bias tape to turn the neck. That's what I'm doing here. So when you attach it, when you get to the last part, so you take it like this. So you join it together. So when you join it together, you now stitch. You complete the stitching around the neck. So open the seam, the bias seam you have there, the joint that I just did, then you stitch. So after stitching, you'll now use the bias. You turn it like this, turn it inside, turn it as seen. Don't let the bias to be showing at the right side of the gown. So a part of the fabric will be inside, the wrong side. So don't let your bias to show on the right side. So you measure what you have on the bust area. So I want to join this side. Measure what you have on the bust area. Then show your allowance, your bust divided by 4. So what you have, just sew it on both sides. You sew your seam allowance on both sides. And this side, you join the sleeve. So this is how I join the sleeve. I turn both the sleeve and the gown. So I turn to the one side. So you start your sewing from the down of the armhole. Then you sew by 1/2 of an inch. Just take it gently. Let the mouth meet. take it gently, let the mouth meet. So this is the skirt. It has only one side join, so you sew the side by half of an inch, just sew it down. So if you want this to have two side join, that means you are going to open the other side too. Then you put your pocket if you want to put pocket. But this in this tutorial I want the join to be one, so it will be at the back. So you measure what you have there. So on the elastic you need about, just measure 11.5 inches on fold, then you stitch. So 11.5 inches on fold, 11.5 inches on fold, then you stitch it together. And this is the band, so you still the side by half of an inch. So you open it, open the seam, then place your elastic. So let the elastic to be in between the band. You can see, just place it this way, try to open the seam. So I'll start my sewing from the seam, from the joining parts of the band. Then I'll stitch gently, so you don't stitch on the elastic, don't stitch on the elastic. So you stitch it round, but you stitch very close to the elastic, but you don't stitch on the elastic. So after stitching, you are going to attach it to the skirt. Just take it gently. So if you have any question, you can ask. You can see the arms. And size it with care. So after stitching, you should have something like this. So this is the skirt. So you're going to, you must note the center. This is the join, you can see the center front. So you must know the center front of the skirt you can match. So let the joining on the band align with the joining on the skirt. So it can secure it with pin. Then you stitch from there. I start my sewing from the back, the center back, at that joining area. So you let the center front of the band align with center front of the skirt. So as you are sewing, you draw. You'll be drawing the band. So you can see this is the outcome. Thank you. You can see how beautiful it is. So you can see the one with the round shape. Assalamu alaikum.